Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Okay, now it is time to introduce our main speaker tonight, Chuck.
Hi, everybody. Chuck, alcoholic. Good to be here. All right. Congratulations to everybody who stood up at the beginning of the meeting. Welcome. Please stay. Congratulations to the 11 people who spit on that cake that looked so delicious before you spit on it. I keep on forgetting that. A lot of birthdays, and everybody comes up and spits on it to put it out, and then afterwards they take the thing out and they slice it, and I'm like, cake, and I forget. And I get the flu every year. It's great. Anyway, good to be here. Thank you, Jeff, for asking me to come do this. This is awesome. I love a meeting that has food at the beginning, a chef. The pizzas were great. It's awesome. I'm coming back. It's my new home group. I've been coming to Alcoholics Anonymous since June 3rd, 1985. And so in, 3 or 4 weeks, if I don't drink, I've been in Alcoholics Anonymous for 22 years. And I have the hardest type of sobriety to have, and that is continuous and uninterrupted. And the reason I tell you that for the people who stood up in the beginning, that from my experience, you don't have to take another drink, at least for another 21 years and 11 months. That's from my experience. You don't have to. And if you're, listen, we're very, very lucky. Before 1935, we didn't have a chance. They didn't know what to do with us. You know what happened to us? We died. We died horrible, painful, lonely deaths. So we're very lucky to be here. And if you're new and you're in here and you're not feeling lucky, I get it, but you are. And I got good news and bad news. It's all the same news. You figure it out. Normal people, regular people, never, ever, 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 ever go to an AA meeting. Sorry. And I know you're like, well, it's a court card, it's the judge. I know. Well, my wife, I know, it's all right. Normal people, never, ever, 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 ever come to an AA meeting. So if you're here, welcome. Just listen. You might hear something that saves your life. This is a weird deal. This really is, and it works weird. I was going to fly out here to find a place to live. A friend of mine was going to take me to the airport, and he couldn't at the last minute, and his wife took me instead. Now, they don't drink, these people. They don't drink. They just don't. They don't like it. And I found out there's millions of those people. There's millions of them. And I never wanted to know them. And they never wanted to know me either. So I didn't know they existed. But they do, and they're great people. And he's about my age. He's like late 40s, and she's like 27 or something. Anyway, it's a good deal. Anyway. But she's driving me. He couldn't at the last minute. She's driving me. And here's our conversation. She says, you know what, Chuck, I got an embarrassing question to ask you, because they know I'm in the program. She says, look, I watch television, and there's all these jokes on sitcoms and stuff like that about 12 steps, and comedians make jokes about 12 steps. What are 12 steps? So I recited to her the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And when I finished reciting the 12 step, here's what she said. She said, wow. And then she said, damn it. I said, what's wrong? She goes, how come there's nothing like that for us? She was jealous. Now you contrast that with a guy that comes into AA, he's lost his job and his wife and his house and everything, living out of his car, and he takes one look at the steps and goes, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That looks like a lot of work. And the answer is clear. I mean, it's crystal clear to a sane person. But I held off on this until the very end. Now, the chip I took at my first meeting, that's the last I drank. I didn't drink any since then. But I had all my slips before because this was the last house on the block. This was it. This was the very end of the deal. It was either killing myself or trying Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, I got to tell you something. There's drugs in my story. You know, that's okay. Sorry if it's not. But there are. And I have to tell you about the drugs. Otherwise, you're not going to understand how I could stay up for 4 days drinking. That's impossible. That can't happen. So there's cocaine in my story. I was actually born in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is a great place to be from. But it's a shitty place to live. I swear to God, especially we weren't New Orleanians, we were imports, you know. But I was born there, my family, and it's a weird. I don't know if you've ever been in New Orleans, but I don't want to use the term inbred. What do I want to use? Recycled families. There were recycled families there. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. If you're from New Orleans. If you're from New Orleans, you're not here because people from New Orleans never leave. They grow up there, they stay there, they have families, they all stay there. Very closed culture. And I felt different. I felt different anyway. And like a lot of people, my first day of kindergarten, I did not have a drink, but I needed one. I really, really did need to loosen up a little bit. And I was scared. I was scared of you. I was scared of everybody. I was just scared. And so because of that, I really towed the line, and I really behaved and tried to stay out of trouble and tried not to get my ass kicked and stuff because I've had that face for my whole life. And it's just, in New Orleans, this is the face that is, hey, I don't like the way that guy looks. That's this face in New Orleans, which sucks. And that's the fear I had the whole time, that just always, just, oh shit, okay, just horrible. And when I found drinking in high school, wow, oh, what a relief. Thank you, God, thank you. What a great thing. And pot, I found pot, Jiminy Christmas. A friend of mine came back from Vietnam with this Vietnamese, Tucci, wow, kind of injected spiritual, wow, Jiminy. Anyway, and that was my first experience on pot, and I was like, holy crap. I was excited. I was like I wanted to proselytize. I wanted to tell everybody about this. You know, I was like, because I was weightless and I was happy and I was hungry and it was fantastic. And I spent the rest of my time chasing that high, by the way, that first high I got, that's the one I wanted back. And I never got there. In college, I quit smoking pot in 1976. Pretty big willpower. It freaked me out. I couldn't smoke it anymore, and I thought it was willpower on my part, because here's something that I would smoke, and everybody else was like having a good time and digging it, and I'm like, is there someone at the door? It was horrible, and so I finally put that down, and I thought, I've got a lot of willpower. I don't smoke pot anymore. I quit, but I hated it, and it was that culture that made me understand what the deal is with being accepted and all that kind of stuff. And because in the 70s, if your hair was long, that means you were Holden. Yeah. I mean, today, if your hair is long, it means you work at Starbucks or something. I don't know what it means really anymore. Maybe the coffee bean. I'm not sure. But back then, if your hair was long, and I remember I ended up having to go to summer school in high school because I was smoking so much during the regular year, and I flunked a class and got in there with all the guys that wear leather in the middle of the summer and stuff. And I got invited to a guy's apartment. A guy in high school had an apartment. Crap. And I got invited over there, and he opened the door, and all the guys looked at me at the door, and they all started hiding their pot. And Jerry went, no, it's okay. Chuck's cool. They all took their pot out again, and I realized, holy crap, all I have to do is do the drugs, and I'm cool. I don't have to be anything. I can be an asshole. If I do drugs, I'm cool. Fantastic. What a great deal. And that's how I started this thing. In college, I quit pot, started drinking scotch. Because my girlfriend, her mother told me that classy men drink scotch. So clearly I should drink scotch. And I'm glad I had that information because scotch tastes like urine. It's horrible. And it takes a lot to get used to it. Second one's better, third one, who cares? But I started drinking pretty much alcoholically right away. I'll fast forward to recovery because I want to fast forward to recovery. You know, we all have stories. We all have stories of how we got here. We all have, you know, the drinkalogs and all that kind of stuff. And I've been in speaker meetings before, and I've heard the speaker talk about a story and really get into detail, and I've thought, holy goddamn, you should be in AA. Good Lord. I mean, it's, you know, really horrible stories. My story is I drank a lot and I lost everything. I lost everything. And that's the story. But the real story about AA, the thing I'm excited about AA is that when recovery starts, that's what I'm excited about. And as of now, I've been in recovery longer than I drank and drugged. But I want to qualify a little bit and let you know that I belong in here. I moved to Dallas, Texas, and became a sales manager of a rock and roll radio station. Big deal, 20s, car, condo, you know, it's crazy, stupid money. I ended up buying an ounce of cocaine every week. Every Friday I'd buy an ounce of cocaine, leave work, go buy an ounce of cocaine, and then here was my plan. I had a plan. And my plan is this. I'm going to bust it up into grams, step on it a little bit, and bust it up into grams, and then sell it to my friends, because I'm not a dealer, you know, just to my friends. And that way I can get some free for myself. That was the plan on Friday. The plan on Sunday night was, next week I'm sticking to the plan. Because I would never, ever give any of it away. And I had a beautiful girlfriend, because I had cocaine. All right. That's the way it works. And you always had to have liquor in the house. Cocaine is, well, first of all, for our purposes, cocaine is the carpool lane to AA. It just moves you right above everybody else. Come on in. Come on. I didn't have to wait till I was 40. Fuck that. I was in 29. I was in AA. But cocaine is the alcoholic's dream. Because the more coke you do, the more you can drink. And the more you drink, the more coke you can do. It's a marriage. It's godsend. It's unbelievable. It's great. Now, but here's the thing. If you have cocaine around the house like I did on the weekend, you have to always make sure there's liquor in the house. Always. And the worst happened to me one night. 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out of liquor. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just, oh, fuck. This is bad. And I did something that at the time I thought I was brilliant. I thought, oh, like a Marine. Adapt, adjust, modify. I mean, I was, on it. I went to the store, came back, and I served myself NyQuil on the rocks. It's 25% alcohol. You know, plus it's the sneezing, sniffling, coughing, so you can get some rest medicine. So that was good. And it's not until sobriety that I look back on that and see how crazy insane that was, and how I thought that was not only sane but brilliant. Nuts. I would go into work on Monday morning after being up all weekend, doing coke, and then ridiculous things like, you know, Sunday night, early Monday morning, about 4 in the morning, you know, jump in bed like I'm gonna sleep. You know, come on, get to sleep. Come on. Just sleep a little bit, come on. It's not, ridiculous. And I would get up, and I had a sales meeting on Monday morning. I didn't have the good sense to change that to like Thursday. I had it on Monday morning because, you know, and I come in gray and sweaty, and here comes the salespeople that sit around the conference table. They're all showered and clean and refreshed. It looks like they've woken up this morning, maybe had a jog and some breakfast and taken the kids to school and, you know, had some time to read the paper, then rolled on into work and, you know, ready with their books and everything, the note and the pens. And I'm like, okay, all right, now, you know, And they were looking at me. I had the audacity to do that. And they would look at me like, don't you know? Don't you know? And I didn't know, but I found out. Because I got fired. And I found myself unemployed and unemployable. And pretty soon the condo, gone. The car the bank was looking for. The police started inquiring about my whereabouts. I had no place to live. I was homeless for a year and a half. Couldn't get a job. I would pick up little nonsense junk jobs, but just gray. And I quit cocaine. Another willpower thing. I ran out of money. There's a program that works right there. And I switched to beer. And I would just go from this little nonsense job to nonsense job and try to drive correctly so I don't get pulled over and drink beer. I'd always make sure I could drink beer. Now, you hear in AA a lot about a moment of clarity. And this is a point where we, in our disease, get a little bit of grace. And God gives us a little snapshot of our lives. This is really what's going on. And my moment of clarity happened in Dallas, Texas, right there on LBJ and Skillman, right there in front of the McDonald's, if you're ever there. You go to Dallas, hey, let's go to LBJ and Skillman. There's a McDonald's there. It's magic, apparently. But here's my thought. My thought was, you know what? If I go in and have a regular hamburger and no fries and a glass of water, I'll have enough for a 12-pack. And it hit me that my entire life had come down to that. My whole life, everything had come down to that one sentence. The most important thing for me was I get a 12-pack. Not food, not anything, and that was my only deal. That's brutal. I didn't know what to do with it, but I saw it. It was 3 months later I called Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't know anything about Alcoholics Anonymous. Nothing. Just that maybe the winos went there. I don't know if they taught you to drink or not to drink, or I didn't know. And I called Alcoholics Anonymous. And I got a lady on the phone. I wish I knew who she was. I do. She was an angel. She talked to me about what happened to her. She talked to me about how she felt. She talked about what she went through, her humiliations, all that stuff. And she made one suggestion. She says, maybe you should go to a meeting, 6 o'clock tonight. So I went. I walked in Alcoholics Anonymous by myself. I would have gone to treatment because they were starting treatment centers in the mid-'80s. But I didn't have any insurance. You know, you don't have any insurance, treatment centers just believe you may have a drinking problem. You have insurance, you're an alcoholic. Come on in. That's the way it was. If you work for a treatment center, I apologize. Jesus, you guys are, no. All right, it's true. What happened? So I walked into AA, and apparently newcomers have a look. Because I walked in, and the first thing a woman says to me is, hey, first time? I said, yeah, first time. She goes, come on in. There was a small meeting, about 12, 15 people around one table, and I took a chip for my first day. And everybody talked to me in that meeting. Everybody talked to me. They, next person talked to me right in my eye. Right, and I, okay. And I heard everything that I wasn't. I heard divorce. I heard DUI. I heard prison, jail, fight. I heard everything that I wasn't. And after the meeting, 2 guys came up to me. Right after the meeting, they come up to me and started talking about how we were different. The 3 of us, we were different. We processed alcohol differently. And I thought, you know what? We are not different. You were different. I am out of here. And I wanted out bad, really bad. And there was this one guy at a meeting. Everyone knows one of these guys. They attach to a newcomer, just start talking AA. I'm just, and I was just trying to be polite. I was just trying to make it at the car. I'd take a step, he'd take a step. I'd take a step, he'd take a step. And he was just talking. I was like trying to be polite. And I was like, oh yeah, rarely have we seen. Okay, it was great. So anyway, so I got to my car, and he said 2 things that saved my life. And here they are. First thing he says is, if you have to decide about what you just saw in there, decide not to decide. I must have been so messed up because I knew exactly what that meant. And the second thing he said was, we come to 90 meetings in 90 days. I was like, every day? He goes, well, did you drink every day? I was like, none of your business? And I did. Here's the thing. The most courageous thing I ever did in my whole life was walking to Alcoholics Anonymous by myself. I think the most miraculous thing that ever happened to me was that I went back the next day. And I continued to go back. And I got a sponsor. And I started doing things. And it freed up a lot of time not drinking. Freed up a bunch of time. And I got a sponsor, and I asked him, I said, I've got all this free time now, what do I do? He goes, well, just come to the 6 o'clock meeting, then stay for the 8. I said, okay, all right, what after that? He goes, well, after that, we all go down to the coffee shop, and we hang out at the coffee shop. I'm like, well, I can hardly fucking contain myself. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you joking? He says, no, we don't. But I went, I hung out. And I started to like hanging out with people that were into recovery. And I started liking that. And I developed lifelong friends in Alcoholics Anonymous. Wow, unbelievable. Now let me tell you something. Now since then, I've had about 21 years, over 21 years of being sober. And I would love to report to you that, especially the new people, that recovery is a graph line that goes just like this, and you get better, and you get better, and you get better. And I'm sure some people have done that. I haven't. Mine kind of does, overall it's higher than when I came in. But I have alcoholism. I wake up every day with untreated alcoholism. And I have a bad forgetter. I still come to meetings all the time. Not all the time, but a lot. 4, 5, 6 meetings a week still. Now I want to tell you something. 22 years I've been in here, 21 years, and I hate those people that do that as soon as they get 10 years, they now have 11. Well, I'm coming up on 11. Oh, I just got 10. So anyway, but it's next month. So, all right, 21, fine. So, and you know what? AA is very supportive about long-term sobriety. I think it's great. It's very supportive. But I want to tell you something. I'm like a getting a chip, getting a have and take. It's sort of like getting a medal in the Special Olympics, really. Oh, and if you don't believe me, just go out to anybody out in the real world and walk up to them and tell them how long you've been sober. Well, good for you. That's fantastic. I'm just a retarded guy with a medal. That's all. And here people say, 21 years, that's a long time. Doesn't matter. Well, you know what matters? It matters out there. It matters, the rubber meets the road out there. Alcoholics Anonymous cares what I do. I don't care how long I haven't drank. And after a while, it doesn't become about not drinking. It's always about not drinking, but it doesn't become about not drinking. It becomes about living right. Because my knee-jerk reaction to everything has nothing to do with that. Nothing. And I've been able to pause and come back to this, and it's saved me a lot. It saved me a whole lot. But the rubber meets the road out there. Alcoholics Anonymous is weird. I got into self-help books for a while. And self-help books all have the same line in them. The line is, change the way you think, and it'll change your life. And Alcoholics Anonymous is a little different. Alcoholics Anonymous says, hey, don't worry about what you think, because we know you're fucking crazy. It's all right. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We care about what you do. And Alcoholics Anonymous gives us things to do. Because I cannot think right. I can't think myself in a right action. I can't. I can only act my way into right thinking. And it's weird. I can't explain how it works. I can't. And how it works is weird. I've heard how it works thousands of times. Literally thousands of times. Read, and I've read it. And it was only a couple of years ago that 2 things popped out at me. It was really amazing. I hear it all the time. And I love the way Alcoholics Anonymous has to speak to us, too, because it says, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. I know, you know, that if someone thoroughly follows our path, they're not going to fail. But they couldn't have put that because one of us would have gone, oh, yeah? Watch this. It's just the way we are. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not going to get better. It's amazing. But in how it works, it says 2 things. It says, if you've decided what you want what we have. Now, I didn't understand that you could decide what you wanted. I just thought, You either want something or you don't. And if I see a bowl of ice cream, I don't have to go, I have to make a decision on whether I want that or not. I want it. And then it says, if you decide you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. And a lot of people are baffled in Alcoholics Anonymous. I can't get this, man. I just can't get it. Let's go back to that. If you've decided, have you decided you want what we have? And are you willing to go to any lengths to get it? Then you're ready to take certain steps. If you can't pass those two, you're not ready to take certain steps. And the baffling question is over. It's time to take a look. I want to tell you, holy smokes, dicked around too much with drinking and drugging. Yeah. The steps are the key. Going to meetings aren't the steps, by the way. Meetings aren't therapy. Therapy isn't meetings. Meetings isn't church. Church isn't meetings. Meetings are meetings. Steps are steps. I want to tell you about something that happened to me because this is the journey that, look, I didn't believe in God. I hated religious people. I had contempt for them. I thought they were weak. You watch CNN, and the guy in front of his house going, well, I know the flood's coming, but Jesus will take, no, he won't, no, move. I just couldn't believe that these people of faith would do stupid stuff. I was like, come on. And what I've come to realize is that it takes a tremendous amount of courage to have faith. It takes a tremendous amount of strength to have faith. And I didn't have burning bush experiences, but I had experiences looking back that are kind of interesting. I'll tell you something. In how it works too, it also says we stood at the turning point. And I'll tell you about my turning point. I had 90 days sobriety, 90 days, 3 months. I'd gotten a job back in radio, got an apartment. I was going to meetings. Everything was good. I was in the shower getting ready to go to work about 6:45 in the morning, and I thought to myself, well, actually, what happened was in popped the lawyer that represents my alcoholism. He's very good. He is. And he says, Chuck, you haven't had a drink for 90 days. 90 days. How can you possibly be an alcoholic? Alcoholics drink, stupid. I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I got a job back. I'm doing fine. There was a function that night, a radio function, alcohol, drinking, and all that kind of stuff. I said, you know what? Tonight, I'm just going to go have a couple of drinks. Tonight, no big deal. I'm just going to have a couple of drinks. I get out of the shower, and my phone is ringing at 6:45 in the morning. 6:45, the phone's ringing. And it was before caller ID, so I had to answer. And I answered it, and on the other line was a guy named David. David, we had clubs in Dallas, AA clubs. It was one place that we played the rent, and it was 24 hours AA. And it was a guy that was kind of in and out of state mental institutions on medication a lot. Sometimes he would sleep up at the club. No, he was harmless. Nobody said anything, but it was him. And he says, yeah, Chuck, this is David from up at the AA group. It's like, yeah, David, what can I do for you? He goes, well, I just called to tell you that you're an alcoholic and you can't have a drink today. Okay, thanks a lot, David. Now, 3 minutes before, I had just decided I was going to drink. Now, that guy had never called me before, hadn't called me since. And at first, I thought he was just up at the club going through the Rolodex, bored, calling people, telling them they're alcoholic, you can't drink today, I don't know. But I think the most miraculous, what happened was I didn't drink that day. And I haven't had a drink since. And in looking back at that, I think, well, first of all, I have a lot more respect for, people in and out of institutions and all that. So it has taken me, AA has taken me from not believing in God and having contempt for religious people to believing in God, to not believing in God, now knowing there's a God. What an incredible leap to make. And it's just from working the steps. That's it. Now, many people get confused about letting go and letting God. What's that like? What is it? I'm gonna leave you with an analogy. And the analogy, I love analogies. Analogies explain a lot to me. I get a kick out of the guys in meetings who, don't quite get a handle on analogies. They're all like, Well, I have a monkey on my back, and anyway, I travel a lot, and I went to a hotel, and they didn't take animals, so I didn't. What the hell are you talking about, man? Why don't you work that one through before you raise your hand next time, all right? Anyway, this analogy is about letting go and letting God. I told you I lived in Dallas. And in Dallas, there's two things going on. There's Six Flags Over Texas. That's one of the amusement parks. And every year, the State Fair of Texas is in Dallas. Now, here's the cool thing. State Fair of Texas, the opening day of the State Fair of Texas, everybody goes to State Fair, but Six Flags is still open. So this girl calls me up. She goes, let's go to Six Flags. Now, I hate roller coasters and won't ride them. Won't. But a girl called. I was like, okay, cool, great idea. And so we go out to Six Flags, and sure enough, we have almost the whole park to ourselves. She goes, come on, let's go ride. I'm like, no. And, I was so afraid of roller coasters. I mean, I just wouldn't. I couldn't. I don't know why I got abused on a roller coaster when I was a kid. I don't know what it was. I don't know. All I know is I didn't like them. And people who rode roller coasters would mock me. The people riding roller coasters, not only were they riding it, which made me feel less than a man, they'd raise their hands. They did, raise their hands. It's like, oh, man, it was like they were like mocking me. So she goes, come on, let's ride it. And it was like, it was a girl, so it's like, okay, all right. And there it was, the Texas Giant, the world's largest wooden roller coaster. Oh, God. And I rode it. And it was the most terrifying event of my life. And I was holding on, and I couldn't. And it was jostling me around. This is horrible. And at the end, we got off, and it turns out that riding a roller coaster for the first time is a lot like having sex for the first time. It's really kind of scary at first, but afterwards, you're like, let's do that. Let's do that again. Let's get a rule. Come on. So we got back in line and did it again. I was still holding on. Anyway, we rode it over and over and over, rode it like 8 times. And on the 8th time, I said, you know what I'm going to do this time? You know what I'm going to do? I raised my hands up. And I did. Rode the roller coaster down and rode my hand, the whole ride, just like this. The ride's over, and we get off, and I turned to her, I said, you know what? That ride's a lot better if you let go. She goes, really? And it's kind of like life. That when I was trying to control, when I was holding on, I didn't believe in anything, and I was under the illusion that I had some sort of control of where the roller coaster was going, and it was just banging me up, and my muscles got all tight and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I let go, the roller coaster still made the unexpected turns, the unexpected dips, but I didn't get banged up. I just enjoyed it. It was because life is going to happen, the ups and downs, the unexpected turns. It's going to happen. Just like I'm not suggesting that if you get in trouble, your boss calls you in the office, you go, you don't do that. I'm just saying to learn to let go. Listen, Alcoholics Anonymous is a miraculous place. We're very, very lucky whether you feel like it or not. So glad you're here, and thanks for letting me be here. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here. remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.